Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Silverline Wednesday Night Wham! Hosted by Scott Wakefield!
Hello, Internet. Hello, friends and family and adoring fans. We are Silverline, and it is Wednesday night. Tonight's topic, great supporting characters. We're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about bad supporting characters. We're going to probably talk about anything and everything like every Wednesday. And as always, SilverlineComics.com is your place for everything Silverline. So if you want to order titles, they're all right there. You can order our comic books. I have not checked. I think all of our titles are up there except for two. Are we still waiting on the last two? Do you know, Tommy, any idea?
I think the only thing that's not current is the Trumps. The Trumps book is not up because I think we're, because it was so big. I think we're doing it in two parts, but that's the I believe that's the only thing that's not up. But the Cat and Mouse is up.
Kalis 1 and 2,
yes.
Divinity. Got Fire Rush 1 up there. Pretty much everything's come out recently except for that most recent Trumps book.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's my fault.
I want to remind anybody that it is gift giving season, and we all know the big guys are doing okay. I mean, like, you know, the Amazons and the Walmarts. So it's a great, unique gift. Get somebody a comic book.
Yep.
And independent comic books, there's something fresh and new, and our titles are unique. Our creators are unique. Our writers and arters are all. They all have a fresh voice and it's different. So buy a comic book for a friend, buy a stack of comic books for yourself, silverlinecomics.com. And before I forget, always, we're on Facebook and Instagram, and we are on LinkedIn. And where else am I missing?
We're also on TikTok.
Socials, and like us and follow us and share us in this feed. TikTok, yes. Share this with your friends, and you can always watch this again. And while we're talking, and then later on, anytime, feel free to leave a comment. We love for you to be part of the conversation. Ask questions. It doesn't always have to be about the topic of du jour. And you can ask comic books, pop culture, all that sort of stuff, and we'll try our best to answer them even after the fact, after the show is live. So we're a half an hour into the show tonight, and we have not introduced ourselves. It is our custom for us all to say hello and remind you who we are. If you've never heard who we are, we're happy to meet you virtually. And I'm going to go from the bottom of my screen on up, and we've got Mr. Grand Moff Medic there. Hey, sir, you are muted right now. I'm going to give you a second, and you can start the ball rolling. And Brent, you're going to be next. Rory, Haley, Michael, Tommy, we'll get going, okay? Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. My name is John Medic. I am an editor at Silverline Comics, creator and writer and letterer and pre-press guy for Sniper and Rook. The upcoming Ripper miniseries and a couple other miniseries I can't talk about yet that are pulling together and hopefully will be published in 2021.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Brent, and then Rory.
I am Brent Larson from sunny and not quite warm Orlando today. The warmth part, anyway. I'm the writer-creator of Kalis. I am the writer-creator of the upcoming, what's it called? Cape Town. You can find, it's really been on my mind lately. You can find me at brent.vector on the Insta, and brenttlarson.com is my website. And does that cover it all?
That's good. That's good. Thank you, sir. We don't. I don't want to make you talk too much, everybody. Rory, go for it.
Hello, I am Rory Boyle, co-creator of Steam Patriots. You can find us on the Gram and the Facebook, I believe, at Steam Patriots. It should be coming out early 2021.
Hope so.
And I'm from the frigid north.
Yes.
Florida.
And
The Florida.
Grand Moff down there is hailing from Chicago. I like to have everybody.
Unfortunately, yeah, about an hour outside of Chicago proper.
Yeah. I love to let everybody know where we're from because we're pretty heavy on Florida in the South, which is it's okay. But I love for everybody to know where we are. Haley, and then see Michael. Go ahead, Haley.
Okay, so I'm Haley Martin, and I am the artist on the upcoming comic Bear. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm from Florida also.
And you have your own webcomic.
I do,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Yes, yeah. Heroic Shenanigans is what it's called.
Heroic Shenanigans.
Heroic Shenanigans.
Yep. Haley,
Yep,
you're the kindest person to this show. I always feel like you're just so polite to all of us. And plug
The
away.
nicest, for sure.
You said Heroic Shenanigans, I misheard you, and I think you need a spin-off called Baroque Shenanigans.
Oh.
Early music enthusiasts that play the harpsichord, okay? That's your idea. It's yours. So you can have
the
it.
bad boys of classical.
Yes.
Nice.
And C, Michael Lanning, where the C stands for charismatic. What? Wait, no, stop. Christmas. There we go.
Oh, gosh.
I like that.
Yeah, close.
It's so good to have you back.
I'm I bet. I'm C. Michael Lanning, coming to you from Louisiana, where I just found out I'm a genius because I found the 8 in a group of 9s. I'm also an independent artist and a mad scribbler on the comic Rejects coming to you from Silverline pretty soon. So.
And
I just got a friend request from a Rakusaki, so I'm getting very popular. So you need a.
You're big in Japan.
Yes, I guess, or at least with the shredder.
Okay. Next to Tommy, and then we'll go to Tim, and I'll wrap it up. Go ahead, Tommy.
Thomas Florimonte. I'm also from Florida, from Central Florida. I'm in the Orlando area right now. I've been a comic creator since the early 90s. I've inked all kind of stuff for pretty much everybody. Marvel, Malibu, Chaos. I've done some DC Image stuff, just a bunch of stuff for everybody, and a lot of stuff for Roland and the Silverline crew, including some earlier Cat and Mouse stuff and the original Demon Tales books. Right now, we just got done inking, or me just got done inking the Trunks book, which was just crowdfunded, and now I am. We still have the second half of that to do, but right now I'm inking, and I always get it wrong. It's the Silverline team up featuring Champion and Miss Fury, and then I'm supposed to also ink the new Demon Tales once we get done with this stuff. And I also co-own Kablam Digital Printing, the #1 comic book printing company in the world.
In the universe, as far as we know, right?
In the universe.
Somebody tell us that's wrong.
And then I also do my own comic book stuff under the Inferno Studios stuff. I do a lot of kid kind of cutesy kind of fun books. That's what I like to draw. Cartoon stuff when I do my own stuff.
You usually have a backdrop with your stuff on it, but I like the festive backdrop tonight.
I know.
Looks
I
good.
I wanted y'all to see the tree. My wife's decoration. There's the tree. There's
Is it
the tree.
is that like a artificial, like plug it in and it does all that craziness tree, or
Yep.
is it okay? That's awesome.
No, it's just magic. No, that's a real tree.
Yeah.
It's like my usual virtual background that I stick back there. No, that's a real tree this time.
That's cool. That's
How
cool.
old does a tree have to be to grow lights?
Oh, it grew its own pear. That's what
He quested for that tree. That's pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
They don't grow
all right.
lights. You have to wait till they drop.
No.
Tim TK, go for it.
Wake up, samurai. I am Tim TK. I am the associate editor here at Silverline and writer/creator of our other history-focused series, Wolf Hunter. Maybe next year, as far as I know. I think we're not certain yet. And I'm on all the social medias at Tim TK Writer. I am also on Twitch at AgroBacon, AGGRO Bacon, one word. Where for this Christmas season, I will let you follow me for free.
Whoa.
For the low price of $5 a month,
Wow.
you can also subscribe to me and help
That
pay
is a
for my
deal.
Del Taco burrito.
Okay, and my name is Scott Wakefield, and I am co-writer and co-creator of Steam Patriots, as Rory said, an upcoming title from Silverline, and I help with publicity. And we always love to share the love with the other independents out there, because as we all grow, we grow together. And if you got a show or a podcast or a blog or some sort of something, and you want to feature our creatives, we love to hop on other shows and talk about what we do, and then likewise talk about what you do. So shoot us a message if you want to chat. And you hear us all saying a title coming up. And this is the biggest problem we have right now. I think we have a wealth of titles and projects in the hopper, which is awesome. And because we have to be lean and mean right now, we have to just let them out as a process that works on our schedule. It's a lot of work to get these books out there. So just keep watching Silverline, and we're just going to keep making great stories, and hopefully they'll be in your hands and you will love them, and we'll just all be a big happy comic book family that's growing and improving as we go. So thank you for being here tonight. And I always say we'd be just talking to ourselves if you weren't out there. So thank you for joining us. If you missed it at the very beginning, I mentioned in passing our topic, and we always have a topic for our shows. We don't always stay on topic, but we try our best, and that really is my job to wrangle the craziness and keep us a little on topic. Tonight, I'm going to say the word topic again. Topic.
And
Topic.
target.
What do we?
We're too close.
The topic is what makes a great supporting character, and we always like to give examples. If we're going to talk about good, we're going to talk about the bad. Talking about the bad helps amplify the good, and defining a supporting character I'm going to be loose and free on that, because our rules are always loose and free. That could be sidekick, that could be a walk-on, walk-off role that had some part of the plot, and then some supporting characters then end up being so awesome they get their own title. So we're going to try to talk about all of that. If you have somebody you absolutely love, that makes a great supporting character, tell us who and why, or somebody you thought was a horrible supporting character. Who and why? Go for it. So I'd also like to talk about how those characters round out the story. And of course, a good supporting character is going to be integral to the plot and hopefully helpful or important in some way. They might be not helpful, but that might be the whole point, to the hero, and how they round out the story. Meaning, do they fill an archetypal role? Do they help further the plot somehow? So let's get started. I'll get the ball rolling. Great supporting character. One of my favorites, and probably a cliche, Samwise Gamgee.
I knew you were going to say that.
I knew you would. But it's predictable. But if you're going to talk about a supporting character that is so integral to the story that there are huge debates about whether he's the real hero. And I know we could even say, Mary or Pippin, or but you can debate whether Samwise is the hero because he literally carries Frodo, but he makes a great character. He's a companion. He rounds out the duo of Frodo and Samwise. He's the strength when Frodo's failing. He's also a problem, a bit of a burden that Frodo has to deal with. So that's as an example. I wanted to use Frodo or Samwise to get us rolling. Who else has somebody? And Brent, are you going to be sticking to the show, or are you going to be cutting out midway?
I do have to cut out midway.
Okay. So we'll be sure to give you ample time to impart your wisdom. Go ahead, see Michael.
Yeah, I thought the question was who's a bad supporting character. Isn't that what you sent me?
I think you sent me something different too.
But you don't look at
you
don't look for it as a supporting character?
I think Scott said both, right?
It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
What's good? What's bad?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what I was prepared for.
Well, there's nothing wrong with telling us who. That's exactly what I wanted. So the topic was what makes a great supporting character, or what do we look for? And I elaborized by having
made
us
up
talk
a word
about,
too.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
What makes a bad supporting character? Because I love to do that. I love the juxtaposition. How's that? That's a real word.
There. Whoa. What makes a bad supporting character? Shia LaBeouf. Next.
Oh God! Yeah.
Oh God! This is gonna be
word.
Yes.
In a particular role.
No,
In any
just any
role.
as a supporting character.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, look, honestly, I don't really have that big of a problem with Shia LaBeouf, but Indiana Jones, Constantine, and iRobot, he was a supporting character. He didn't support too
Keep on
much.
forgetting he was in Constantine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was he in Constantine?
Yes.
I think I blocked out
was-
everything except for Keanu
was a
Reeves carrying that
sidekick.
movie.
Me too.
The good thing, the best part about that movie is, well, he died.
Oh,
Spoilers!
Oh man.
Oh,
That's
if
been
you're
out for
spoiled after
years.
you haven't seen Constantine yet, you shouldn't be watching this show.
No, not yet, not yet. No, but you
No.
know what they should do is they should give Shia like a movie with like Nick Cage. Then I'd have two
I was
reasons
gonna
to
That's
watch
who's
it,
worse.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like, all right, double feature. We'll watch it because of you and you. Although I heard that Shia has been doing some not as big titles anymore.
So
I heard that he did a
yeah.
fan film.
Yeah, he switched over
did
to
a
doing
fan
like
film.
indie film festival style films.
Yeah, and actually, it was called Indie. Yes, it was a fan film
Yep.
that tried to pass itself off as an Indiana Jones film,
Something,
like some
but
crystal thing. I'm like, oh
oh
my
my
god.
gosh.
So yeah, whatever.
I thought you were talking about the Peanut Butter Falcon, which is actually fantastic.
Well, no, and see,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Okay,
if
yeah,
he's
that was
actually
good.
a main character, I don't mind. What was it, like Eagle Eye and
Yeah.
things like that? Those are good.
I think also,
But as a supporting character, I guess
Mm.
he's just one of them guys that need to be in the limelight. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I think he has the same issue that Nick Cage had, where if you give him a budget, then nothing. It's just something happens in the equation or it doesn't pan out. But like Nick Cage's last two movies, same as Shia LaBeouf. Like if you're the budget, then it's just him acting.
Yeah.
Well, he was the supporting character in the Transformer movies, wasn't he?
I haven't
Supporting
watched
and or main,
those
I don't.
because, yeah.
I don't know. Did they have a main character?
And
Did
the
they have
second
Yeah,
any
one.
people
I
other
think it
than
was
Nick?
called Noise.
Yeah.
You know, the best Transformer movie yet outside of the cartoon from the 80s movie, which was the best. Like the first 5 minutes of the Bumblebee movie. Because there were no humans there was no there were robots that looked like the ones we grew up with.
Yes,
and
yeah,
there
that's
was there was like a perfect sound wave who's like my favorite, and I was like, why can't they give us a movie like this? You know, and it's all human supporting characters. You know, that sucks.
Yeah, I like the fact that that they look like Transformers in that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just give us like, was it the Dinobot saga, but just
Yeah, right.
keep John Cena because it's John Cena. Get rid of everyone else. Just John Cena's there for some reason.
What? He could stand in the corner and not speak.
Sir, John Cena's gonna be Peacekeeper, and he's bringing the helmet. We have to.
It brings me to my next point. What's bad about what is bad in supporting characters? John Cena.
You don't see me.
No, I'm just messing.
No, he has too much commitment to. I can't. Someone's dog is dying.
That's mine. He's coughing. I told him to stop smoking. Nobody does that anymore.
They don't care. They don't care. So,
but
okay. Go ahead.
Oh, and the one thing, a whiny character.
Yes.
Overall, I think that's number one thing.
That'll kill any TV show for me.
Whine just constantly.
And as much as we love, and see, Michael, I'm going to totally agree with you on that. As much as most of us hold love for 80s cartoons, most of them had that incessant, stupid supporting character. Thundercats, Snarf, what the hell?
Yes.
Masters of the Universe, Orko. Orko looked cool, but shut up. Battle of the Planets, like the greatest anime of all time, based upon Gotcha Man. They had, he was Junpei in Gotcha Man, but Pee-wee when they called it G-Force. What was he called in Battle of the Planets? The one that he's like, and they said like he's basically an android. Which he never was.
Yeah, I'm not sure I heard that right.
And he goes, and then he's like, "Honey, I don't understand." It was like bad android talk. Oh my god, Kia. They called him Kia. Yes. So
bookmark that.
We're gonna clip that. Can we clip that?
Yeah, can someone watching on Twitch? Can you clip that, please?
Somebody's got to do a Silverline rewind this year.
So with like a lot of the cartoons in the 80s, as much as we loved them, they had a lot of bad supporting characters. With that, Scrappy Doo. Okay, I hated Scooby Doo to begin with, but like Scrappy, and then when Batman and Robin wanted like Batmite on like one of the shows, it's like, are you kidding me?
Batmite, oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's like when they went with the cutesy stuff, it's just like, it's similarly Flintstones.
Yes, I knew you were going to go there. Yes.
The Great Gazoo. It's like,
but he wasn't a whitey character. He was just a prat.
Shark jumping the shark. It's like, oh my god, why? But yeah, so unfortunately, we did suffer through a lot of that with our 80s cartoons that we still hold so dearly.
That's true. Man, see, that needed a PowerPoint. Mm-hmm. That totally needed a PowerPoint.
Well, since you asked, let me fire it up. No,
I want ready.
That would be awesome.
So we can't stand whiny. What about, I was going to ask before we got off the actor thing, is it other than just bad acting, whiny, overacting?
Yeah.
Constantly a burden.
Yes.
Overconfidence. Overconfidence. That overconfidence that that character can't do it, but they're just gonna do it and get in the way.
But that built all of Booster Gold. That made him the legend that he is today.
Yeah, but see now he's Maine, so
yeah, that's and that pulled him into Maine is just the fact. Well, I mean, if you do it right, because there has to be a point to it. Because you have those insistently whiny characters, but then if you have someone like a Mary or Pepin who are whiny, but there's a point to their story, is they show the emotional journey unfold with their whininess slowly turning into.
Well, yeah. They were whiny, but there was they had a comedic aspect of them.
There's-
You weren't
there's-
constantly being whined.
Exactly.
You weren't
Yeah, there's
snarf.
they delivered it well. You could tell there was a point in why they made them whiny. It wasn't just
right.
we need a character to whine here. It was like they're whining there because X has changed and they're not used to that
Right.
yet. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they were hobbits. So I mean,
Yeah.
they don't do this kind of thing. You
What about
crazy?
11Cs?
You know, Luke Skywalker is pretty much
Oh, yeah.
introduced as a whiner. I know.
Yeah.
Like he redeems himself. Spoiler, if you haven't
Yeah.
seen what's it called? Star Wars, I think. Yeah.
A small film from the
You
late
haven't
60s.
seen Star Wars? Stop now and go watch it.
Oh, come on. We're going to spoil it. Let's just spoil it. He never made it to Tashi Station to get the power converters. And he whined and whined and whined about it, and he never got it.
It's-
And you know, that's what his Uncle
That's so
Ant said
true.
when, when what was it, Biggs and Tank left.
Yeah.
But
Luke actually suffered a stroke in the desert heat, and the rest of the story is just him
It's okay.
dying from heat.
Yes, that was the last thing that he said right before he disappeared at the end of Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I could have had the power converter.
All I needed was a moisture farm. Just one moisture farm.
We've had this discussion, right, about those little signs. They're not across the board, but of somebody you're not going to get along with, right? You know, like right off the bat. And I try not to do that because I'm wrong, but we all have those things that, like, that person, I don't think we're going to be besties. But people who have not seen any Star Wars. Now, I'm not a diehard fanboy of Star Wars, but for me it's a measure. Like, if someone says, "Oh, I've never seen Star Wars," I think, well, okay, if we're in America or really like most of the developed world, I'm like, how?
what is
Something's
wrong with you?
Be careful, Scott, because it's a generational thing. The team I work with has had interns who never saw a Star Wars movie, but they watch YouTube incessantly.
Yeah.
Or they never saw the original trilogy, but they saw the prequel trilogy and loved it.
And they like,
Oh.
yeah, we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's
And then
what
Everybody
how,
has
been
their Star
experiencing a
Wars.
renaissance.
yeah, and then you have
So-
the weird younger millennials love the prequels, and then you have younger Gen Z who now love the sequel trilogy because it's just their first exposure to the storytelling.
My son, when growing up, of course I've got Star Wars stuff all around the house. He's like, I hate Star Wars. I'm like, you're adopted,
And then-
whatever.
Now you,
Don't
no Christmas
don't put
for
down
you.
my religion. That's not cool. And then when the new sequel trilogy came out, that's when he was actually interested. That's when he wanted to start getting the cool stuff. We saw the movie 23 times. Force Awakens 23 times in theaters, once a week while played in Illinois. So that was pretty cool. But his wording was like Star Wars Rebels. That's where he really kicked into high gear. He goes, "This is my Star Wars." And then he went back to watch Clone Wars. He really has no interest in watching the Holy Trilogy with me. So the originals don't do much for him. But it's, I'm okay with that because he has his, we have ours. Those poor children of the 90s have the Phantom Menace. Oh my God. But
Even as a child, I wasn't into it.
It's cool that everybody has theirs and they all tie together. And now, oh my God, he's like the one who's wanting to stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to watch The Mandalorian when it drops Friday morning. And so he beats me to it, and I'm like, but I'm the one with the shrine to Boba Fett in my house. That used to be in my office. I literally have it. I'm looking right at it, a shrine to Boba Fett, and I'm like, okay, so you like Mandalorian stuff now? He's like, yeah, because of Clone Wars, and and so he's schooling me on stuff now, and it's cool.
But have you watched the Life Day special with them?
Oh,
That is
the
pretty
original
fun.
holiday special. I did
My
show him
wife
that.
and I just caught it the other night. That was fun. The Lego thing, right?
No, he's talking the original one.
The
from
one that
back in
opens
70s.
like 5 minutes of
original,
Wookiees
the
talking and you don't have any what's happening.
Oh
The
no,
one-
no, yeah, you're talking about the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with B.
No, no.
Arthur and Tim
I've got
Conway
some bootleg
and,
versions of it.
And Carrie
Oh my
Fisher
God.
sings.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher sings, and Luke Skywalker has way too much rouge on. And
Yeah,
let's see, what
that's
else?
something.
But the cartoon that was done by Nelvana with the first appearance of Fett,
Mhm.
that was cool. That
Yeah.
was really, really cool. So I'm so glad Chewbacca's son Lumpy was watching that. Or was the father Lumpy? No, they're all lumpy, whatever.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that Legos thing?
No, I do want to watch that.
Same.
I heard
It's
it was
really
good.
cool.
I heard it was good.
Yeah, it was really neat. It's pretty funny.
Is Jefferson Starship in it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, not the Lego one, but the original one.
Well,
Yes.
I don't know if I can watch the Lego one then.
Right.
'Cause I need that. You know.
Frankly, I'm more of a Hardware Wars fan myself. Anyone?
I've got that on DVD.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
But I think we can all agree, if you encounter someone who has said, "I've never seen Star Wars," something's not right. I feel like turn and run.
No.
Because it's
No. You just back away slowly as to not provoke.
I feel like you're proselytized.
Yeah, you need to look at this as a teaching opportunity.
Exactly.
If they say they haven't seen Star Wars, then say, "Do you have a piece of paper? Don't write this down on your phone. You'll lose it. Write it down. Start here.
Right.
I feel like
here, and then we'll talk."
No. You
We
sit
need
them down and you pull your phone out and dial it up into.
you got 3 hours, right?
Yeah, well, sit down with me. Let's watch some.
No.
I feel like we need to create some like some old school like Jedi tracks, like like the piece of paper they had at school.
All the bathroom.
So we could be like, what are those? The Jehovah Witnesses
Yeah.
of, preaching the Force.
Yes.
Yeah. Just the next time one of those guys or gals knocks on your door, would you like to hear about our religion? Well, let me tell you about mine first. All right.
Let me
So
tell you
those
about
are
my good old
chosen
friend LS.
but unfortunately, he didn't have the high ground.
Yeah.
And like 4 hours later, they leave crying, and you're like, my work here is done.
Okay, so let's bring it to the sidekick thing. C-3PO. C-3PO was whiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as a protocol droid, he was good for the comedic relief that he offered.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
You could say, of course, R2-D2 was too whiny, but
R2 had a mouth.
I was just gonna say,
He cussed a lot.
He was the most bleeped out character to ever be in. It's like every
oh no, my ears.
Those astromechs, I swear to God, see, Michael, going back to talking about 3PO, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, Scott, I'm gonna kind of tie it back to the topic. One of the things that, when it comes to supporting characters that I like supporting characters that are interesting in their own way and could serve to have stories of their own, but they don't all necessarily have to be ones to have like their own franchises. Like, an independent 3PO story could be awesome, but you wouldn't want like
But very slow.
A sequel trilogy on 3PO. But even, if you think about it though,
but they had droids.
Look, sir, droids. But even with 3PO, this was really cool. He had a very notable arc of progression. He actually grew
heroic
from the first movie when Luke was like, of the rebellion, against the Empire. And he's like, I'm sorry, sir, I'm not very good at telling stories. Not to make them interesting anyway, right? So he's saying he tells boring stories, but by Return of the Jedi, he's hanging out on the Force Moon of Endor. He's talking to the Ewoks, who are all captivating. It's like, and then Luke Skywalker, and then like the Ewoks, they're just like going crazy because they're like so in like enthralled with 3PO storytelling. So just even little things like that you could do with not the major characters, that's cool. I like to see growth and character development even in the complementary characters.
He even was a pretty kind of a hero in the last movie.
Yeah,
Remember when
he's
he gave up all of his memories and stuff just to
But of course he
or
got
whatever happened in that last movie.
Whatever happened in that last movie.
Yeah. He
dream.
It had Daisy Ridley. That's all I needed. I was good.
He also a good example of a supporting character because he's there for a very specific reason, not just to a scene, but to the entire story. Because a good way to look at it would be, what if R2-D2 could actually speak? You wouldn't need 3PO, but then R2 would be completely different, and it would literally mess up the story as it was conceived, and they would have had to throw in other things. So 3PO had an interesting personality, but he was there for a very specific purpose. I think that is, when I think of my favorite supporting characters, I think of basically any show Joss Whedon has ever done. Did supporting characters better than anybody I've ever seen. And part of the reason was because they each had their own very distinct personality, but you never questioned why they were there. And they changed, they grew over the course of each season. So they were never the same as when they started out. And I loved that. But it's funny, when I think of supporting characters I hated Wesley Crusher in the first season of Star Wars.
Oh God!
But he's great on like Big Bang Theory.
Yeah,
I love the self-deprecating humor.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that about him. But even back then, I mean, I didn't have to have it explained to me. He had no reason to be there. And it was crazy. He was so smart. He kept saving the Enterprise that I stopped thinking, "Why are you there?" and started wondering, "Why is anybody else there?"
Yeah.
How old were you? How old were you when TNG came out, Brent?
I was, oh gosh, I was high school.
Okay, so about the same as me. I think he was put in to attract like the younger demo, so that's oftentimes where we, as a little bit older, because Brent, can I ask what year were you born?
71.
Okay, I was 73.
Please
so
don't
we were
use that when hacking my private.
Yeah.
And what's your pet's name? And
what's your in the last four digits?
Social. Yeah. So yeah, okay. So I was born in 73.
Mother's
so,
maiden name, please.
We're very, very close. Oh, there was no mother. I was just brought down from the start. No, but yeah, kind of like Anakin, only better.
A high midichlorian count.
Anyway, Brent, going back to what I was saying. Sorry, digress. Yeah, I think a lot of times that's what happens. They bring in the younger characters to appeal to a different demographic that may rub us the wrong way. But if somebody was 10, 12, they might have gone, "Ooh, I want to be like him. Oh, look, he's so smart." I was just like, "Dang, your mom's hot." Gates McFadden, very attractive. Deanna Troi, also very attractive, but I think I like Dr. Crusher better.
I can speak to that though, because I was 9 or 10 when that came out, and I couldn't stand Will Crusher then either.
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I was watching that. I was like, no, who is this kid? I'd much rather be like Riker. Like Riker slices with the ladies, and also he knows how to kill a man.
A kid doesn't actually
with the beard.
Yeah.
It's a great example of what happens when an element is put into a story that's not story driven, but is driven by something else. Because you're probably right, John. It was some exec who was like, "We need to get the kids involved in the Star Trek," and they shoved some guy in there, and all the kids are going, "This guy's an idiot. Why wouldn't I want to be like Riker?"
Well, that's
sorry. I was gonna say, and then I liked it when they actually gave him the academy arc, where like he's actually going to school and like he's doing a purpose for the greater whatever here.
Yep,
And
and then they took. Oh, sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
I thought you were done. I'm sorry. Go finish.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, I lost it now. But it's he has his own struggles and goals at that point. That being a kid at that point, you can relate to your own trek through school or whatever at the same time, minus interstellar combat.
You know, and then where I was going with that one, Tim, because I was gonna like dovetail out of yours because you make a great point, and I think that they did that even better in DS9.
Yes.
Because not only did Cisco's son go through the program, but Nog, the first Ferengi.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like the Ferengi really had a whole problem going through, which was also then kind of parallel, if you think about it, with Worf, who was the first Klingon on a Starship Enterprise, or on a Federation starship. You know, so yeah, I think you're definitely right on that. He started having a good arc later on.
And and that happens in the first season. Up to that point, the kids don't get as much screen time as their parents, who are dealing with this Cold War that's starting to thaw a little bit. And but once the school starts and Keiko starts, you know, having her own arc, the kids get more screen time because now they all serve a purpose for the story. They're not just there to insert, throw away a line.
Right. And it should be worth noting that DS9 was a completely different scenario than TNG. TNG was a starship.
Yep.
It was a ship that traveled. It was about the crew that made up the command crew of the ship. Why would you need a kid there? A kid has no place there.
Whose child is on the bridge?
Space station and all the different people that interact with that, you need kids because kids have a completely different perspective on what's going on. That's different from adults. You have all kinds of different stories that you can tell through the eyes of a kid on a space station. It makes sense. Not on a command deck of a
Well, I think they also fell into kind of a pitfall of writing teenagers is the fact that you have an adult writing a kid. So you're writing from an adult's perspective of a kid. And he could be a kid, right? But a kid doesn't see themselves that way.
Right.
If you're going to convey to children or to teenagers especially, you kind of have to write above that level. So that's not just about their understanding how they perceive themselves as being. Trust me, I remember when I was 16 years old, I thought I was smarter than I was. Now I know that I'm not.
Oh, you are.
Oh,
yeah. Usually though, a kid, the introduction of a kid is usually the beginning of the end of a show.
Yeah.
When they bring a kid on, that's the dying breaths of usually a sitcom.
So you're talking Cousin Oliver?
I don't do it.
Okay, cousin. I've been waiting for this. Okay, so Cousin Oliver ruined Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this one earlier today too. So Battlestar Galactica, right? So my email address was Cylon. My license plate is Cylon. Cylon is part of my DNA. Galactica 1980, that POS. Oh my god. And that one, they had like this space child who like freaking Lauren Green, who was like 100 freaking years old, is listening to this like 12-year-old little brat with a bowl haircut. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then they did something even stupider with Mork and Mindy. Because if you remember,
God, Jonathan Winters. Yes.
So not only did they have to talk to like his great leader, who was a freaking child, because Mork's people, if you remember, they aged backwards. Then they jumped the shark because they gave Mork and Mindy a kid who was some old dude because they aged backwards. So not only did they introduce a kid, they introduced an older guy acting like a stupid kid. I'm like, oh my god. Okay, where else do we want to go with this one then?
Seven from Married with Children.
Oh my god! But at least they finally got rid of him, and they never talked about him again.
Yes, they did. He was on the milk carton.
That is right. That is
the
right.
milk carton down. You saw it.
Yes.
Have you seen me with Seven's face?
Yes,
so they
you're
did
right.
touch on it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Cosby Show, right?
Cosby. Oh
Cosby. Pam, yeah.
Growing Pains, right?
Leo. Yep.
No, they brought in 2 for Growing Pains because you got to remember Chrissy.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my God, I forgot about her on purpose.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Oh, Happy Days. They just started swapping people the heck out.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Didn't they bring a kid in? There was a little. Wasn't there? There was a kid.
Wait, there was the
remember
youngest
Different
cousin.
Strokes.
No, there was a kid, Nikki.
Was there?
You're right.
Oh, I don't remember that.
She was pregnant. In fact, that's when they lost the first mother and got the second mother came in. Nikki. He was the younger son.
Different Strokes. They brought in the little redheaded kid, because every time the young cute kid of the show got too old, they brought in a new young cute kid who wasn't cute. So yeah, you had the little redheaded kid that, of course gingers have no souls. So it's like, there goes that show. Oh my God, yeah.
You know what else?
Fan X, please.
I gotta go.
All right.
Oh my God.
I'll see you guys next week.
Well, you need to give us a mic drop, something. One good thing to keep us going.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Come on, Dad. Come on, Dad.
Okay.
He was the kid from Independence Day too, wasn't he?
Independence Day is a work of cinematic genius. I'm Brent Larson. Good night.
That's perfect.
You can't just drop that bomb in the middle of a room and walk out.
Independence Day had me livid in the theater. It was horrible.
It was Independence Day. I remember. What year did that come out? I was
85, 86.
No,
95,
95.
96.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was a teenager, and I remember that movie just blew my mind. Looking back though, I've watched it again, and I'm like,
it does not stand the test of time.
Nope.
I fell asleep while watching it.
The thing that lost me on that, the beginning of it was great. Okay, it was fun, it was good, it was well acted, but I was teaching technology at the time. All right, so at that point,
you mean it wasn't realistic?
Oh my God, so like at that point, you couldn't get a PC and an Apple to communicate on the same network very well. You try to get two different computers to talk to a printer, ain't gonna happen. But you know what? That dude, I think he could write a program that's gonna be a virus in an alien language that we never saw it before. And so now we're gonna go ahead and write this virus in this thing, thank God the alien technology was IBM PC compatible.
You got the guy who turned himself into a fly. I think it's believable.
No.
It was a Linux operating system on the station.
Yeah.
Of course it worked.
We didn't even have Linux back then.
That makes sense.
TCP.
We can all write in Python.
Wasn't
Come on.
commonly used on networks yet. It was mostly IPX, SPX. I'm like, oh my God. So they're going to write a virus, upload it to the system. And, yeah, when they went down that path, I'm just like, I'm done. It
wasn't that Randy Quaid saved the day.
Randy Quaid was awesome.
did it.
Yeah.
Randy Quaid was the best part.
And then he went crazy. Oh no, he was already crazy.
Now, there's a good supporting character right there.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
You
had somebody at the beginning. It's kind of like a Shakespearean comedy. He's a mess. Just a total mess. And by the end of it, he's pulled it all together.
Self-sacrifice.
The world. Yeah. So there's something good came out of that movie.
Good.
Randy Quaid. Well,
Before I forget, ding ding ding! It's time for trivia. You know how we always have the trivia on our show, right?
Yeah.
Sure. When did that happen?
Was that like the Jedi mind trick? There's always trivia.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I won last week. That's right.
trivia.
I remember.
Name the character.
Joe.
Wait. Name the character that
Robert.
is played by the same actor as Wesley Crusher's roommate.
What? As Wesley.
Say that again.
Starfleet Academy.
I won't interrupt this time. You say it all the way.
Wesley Crusher, and they do the they light the plasma or whatever, and the maneuver. They have they get in trouble because they light the.
Oh, that's right. When he went to the academy, kind of thing. When he was gone there for a little
Wesley's roommate. It is not the same character, but it is the same actor. That actor plays another Star Trek main character.
Well, all the Star Trek people were in multiple shows.
I can't tell you the actor's name because I can't remember. But he is
If there was
Paris
just a thing
in
that you
Voyager.
could look at. Oh,
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Tom Paris is Wesley's roommate.
Yeah.
No
And
way.
He's the one that's. I think he's the one that tells him to lie. He's the problem. Like, I think he's the
Oh my
one.
God.
Yeah.
Tom Paris was my favorite one on Voyager.
Yeah, he was. I liked him. Most of the Voyager crew I did not like, but I liked Tom.
So the actor was the same, but not the character.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And I think even the guy that plays Tuvok is in Star Trek 6.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Without
Without makeup.
He's not. Yeah, he's not a Vulcan.
Not a fucking. Yeah,
He's
a
just a
dude.
regular dude.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there we ding, ding, ding. Okay, trivia hour is over.
Yeah.
Back
That
to
was
our
a quick hour.
I think trivia hour might be to see what Scott knows.
regular.
Who's watching
Well,
Discovery? Anybody watching Discovery?
I just
Not
picked
yet.
up the discs. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's pretty good.
I have been
Like it.
enjoying. So I was going to go there with I know he's going to be a main character, and he was a main character for a little while, but Discovery's Captain Pike.
I know.
I
yes.
love him.
It's going to be
I
good.
heard
He
he did a great
turned out to
job.
be a breakout character, didn't he?
Yes.
Well, he
That
was
guy.
a main character.
Well, I mean,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, he
but
was the
they-
first Star Trek. Come on.
But,
Well,
he was in it forever. That's right. Maybe why did we have to take so long
Why
to get
can't
him
we
back
get
in
rid
the
of?
show?
What is,
His best role was beep, beep, beep.
Why are you cussing?
That was my Captain Pike impersonation.
That was insensitive, and I am recording you. I am going to dox you. And
We probably just got kicked off of YouTube.
oh my! Never think about running for office now. It
Okay,
ain't gonna happen.
That's forever. I did a Captain Pike impersonation. I always thought, okay, in the 22nd, 22nd century, Captain Pike, 23rd century.
In the future,
I only go by
That's
star
the
dates.
best- That's the best they can come up with. And I mean, like right now we have machines that can talk for us and all that. And he has a wheelchair with one beep and two beeps.
he didn't even have Stephen Hawking level stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Wesley wasn't born yet to make the
Right,
device
right.
that he needed. Yeah.
So in Discovery's Captain Pike,
Yeah.
I would put him as a supporting character. He does become in charge, but he is not the lead.
Right.
He is the actor.
Anson Mount.
The way they write his whole character is fantastic, and yes, he deserves a show.
What-
And I
what-
know they were just given giving lip service to the fanboys to bring the Enterprise in for a while to kind of give Discovery a shot in the arm. I mean, it's real heavy on Enterprise for a little while. Spoiler, sorry.
What?
Oh well, yeah. I don't want to go spoiler, but the reason I want to see it so bad, and I won't say,
Spock.
but no, actually, that one kind of pushed me away a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, he
somebody
was
else plays
fine.
Spock.
He was fine.
and I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
But
It was weird. It was
where I hear somebody came from and where I hear they went goes back to my favorite original series episode
yes.
ever.
Yes.
fine. Whisper it.
Yes.
Whisper it real quiet so I can hear. So I know what you're saying.
Somebody mentioned Spock, right?
Yeah.
He'd
yeah.
look good with a goatee, wouldn't he?
Oh.
Which is
Don't know what
also
you're talking
one of the worst Enterprise episodes. So that
Oh, the Enterprise one. But
I
the
hated
intro,
that one.
but the intro to that, how they totally redid the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make it match that.
Yep.
Oh my god, that was brilliant.
You know, am I the only one out of all of us that like Enterprise?
I liked
No, I liked Enterprise.
Yeah.
I
I
like Scott Bakula. I thought they did a nice job.
But
It-
that
that-
episode,
One episode.
it's like it's the second to last episode.
I mean,
and
it
it's-
wasn't that great, but I still.
No,
It's
I
like
didn't have any problem with it. I don't know.
I appreciated the.
I like the idea of it coming together. I
Yeah,
just
I
it
like
just
the.
didn't catch my attention.
I like the take they kind of did on a little differently. I wish they had a better way to set it all up. But Star Trek traditionally has always been a science or discovery ship, or Deep Space Nine. They kind of got a little more militaristic, and it was just essentially a guard port. But they deal with Enterprise that they were science and discovery, but they built Enterprise like a gunship. And then we got into the whole weird transdimensional war thing, which I kind of dug. But I want to see something more about the military arm of Starfleet. Like what are the Marines and the guys on gunships doing when zones turn hot? Like I want that. That got me interested in what that would look like in the Star Trek universe. Would be what would this look like if they Band of Brothers it?
I think they try to stay away from that though because of its intent on having that peaceful.
Exactly, they do.
But it would
yeah.
be very interesting to see actually.
I think just purely from because it's the theming and the moral of Star Trek at large, but just for the sake of storytelling, that's when I got interested into the fact that they actually had grunts on this ship and they had a proper regimented security force. Aaron Humphreys on YouTube says his favorite supporting character is Hudson from Aliens. That is a good pick.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Played by.
I can see him, but I can't remember the name.
Well, if someone wants to look that up, they
Bill
can.
Paxton. I don't know.
Oh, that's yeah.
Bill Paxton.
Boy, look at it. I never saw it.
Yeah.
Never saw it. That's just,
Yep. Yeah.
but Bill Paxton was in everything.
Yeah.
Me and Independence Day.
Okay, well,
No,
that was Bill Pullman.
Pullman.
Dang.
It was a Bill.
Isn't there? Sorry, there's probably a Simpsons reference. Isn't there a Simpsons reference where they're in the theater and the sea captain corrects him on it's Bill Pullman? Isn't there a? So I'm gonna have to look that up. I have to watch all the Simpsons again.
Yeah, because they were both kind of getting popular at the same time. They were getting,
and aren't they? Yeah, I feel like they're in the theater and someone yells at them that it's Bill Pullman or Bill Paxton. I don't remember. Okay.
I just remember Bill Paxton was in sequels of stuff like Aliens and Predator 2 and stuff like that. And Twisters.
Okay. Let's come back. Whew. First of all, did we lose John? Okay, Rory, Haley.
Yes.
Are we talking?
I just killed video for a second. I needed to grab a pop. I'll be right back.
What do you look for? What supporting character? If we can be comic books, it can be movies, it can be literature. What do you like?
I had a thought.
Yeah.
While you were talking about the bringing kids into shows thing, I don't know if it's gonna be kind of a tangent, but it reminded me of something I was reading a Teen Titans comic, and there was an intro to it where the writer was talking about how when they first introduced Robin and other sidekick characters, it was supposed to bring in the kids, and he was a kid, but he hated it because he's well, I'm not all super powered and athletic like them, but I could feel I could grow up to be not realistically, but he was I like Batman more because I feel oh well, I could grow up to be him, but if I'm Robin's age right now, I'm not as athletic as he is, so it makes me feel that. So I was that was kind of an interesting thought. So then he was saying when he went on to write these characters, he wanted to do it differently and make them seem more human, I get more actual teenagers rather than something kind of unattainable. I don't know, that reminded me of that. I just thought that was kind of an interesting perspective.
I want to know how many kids took up gymnastics or something like that because of Robin or Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I know
how many ran away to join the circus.
Yeah. Yeah, as I know when was it Warhorse, that book dropped, a lot of kids got into equestrian
Equestrian?
Yeah.
Horsey ride.
Yeah, dressage. Specifically dressage. But
I read something that sales of chessboards is through the roof
because of Queen's Gambit, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good show. I'm
Yeah.
like 3 episodes in. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Have they been tracking sales about 3D chessboards? Sorry, had to take it back to track. It's all good.
All right. But speaking of supporting characters from the Holmes universe, I feel like another good archetype for a supporting character is to have the character's conscience.
Yeah.
Which you see that a lot in Watson, where Holmes is like, all right, I got to lead him and pursue it through going through as many people as I need to. And Watson's like, how about we don't?
Yeah. How about you don't get addicted to heroin?
Yeah.
That's a fine line to walk when you have that supporting character who is either the conscience or sort of like a narrator.
Mm-hmm.
It works for some stuff, but that cheesy they're the exposition and they have to tell what's it called the info dump where they
info dump, yeah.
The new guys there, and they go, well, the warp core can break down at any moment. You got to watch that valve, and then because later on, that's going to be the
outbreak.
So yeah, that's a Watson's a good character. It works, but sometimes that supporting character is just.
What's really cool about Watson is the way Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote him was so that he didn't have to write from Sherlock's perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that was a really good usage of supporting characters to kind of have that to look into that world of Sherlock and have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's back to Tony Stark built it in the cave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Explain.
Exactly.
What's going on there, Snuggie?
That's fantastic.
I'm trying to find a good background. It's not working.
You're just
I'm
trying to
trying.
get some psychedelic slug or something.
Oh, maybe if I tell you I don't have a green screen. Oh well.
Other characters. So we got like Lois Lane. She was always. That's the problem when they don't write them well. We talked about really well, like Joss Whedon's supporting character, and I think of course things have gotten better with storytelling, in that aspect, less 2-dimensional. But Lois Lane was always her only reason was to get in trouble, or to undo Superman's efforts because of her. She's just bumbling and then gets caught and gets in trouble. Same with Jimmy.
This comes from being a huge X-Men nerd, but I honestly think that one of the best love relationships shown in comics is actually Cyclops and Emma Frost.
Kitty. Oh.
Not Jean Grey, because Jean Grey she had some weird moments and then she turned psychotic, and there was some problematic issues with her writing at the time. But Emma Frost is a completely dynamic character with her own motivation or own goals there, but they just line up in such a way where Cyclops and Emma both have the idea of what they think is best for the mutant nation, and that causes them to develop a strong relationship over that. But they never agree 100% of the time. There's always something where either one's tugging at the other to be a little more humane, or they just have different ideals of what structure would look like for this amorphous ideal that they both share.
Well, she sure did take it to extremes with Death of X.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. There's some moments where
I love you, Scott. I'm going to make you the enemy.
Yeah.
It's like...
There's some different moments where they're like, where the writer's like, okay, we need characters to kill each other because it's a comic book. Yeah. But as far as like, they never really serve just to be each other's love interest the entire time. Their love interest is certainly part of the story, but it's not their entire motivation.
I agree.
Thank you, Christmas Michael.
I get back to the Joss Whedon world. Black Widow in Winter Soldier, which I think is John's favorite. Is that your favorite?
It is. Yep. I absolutely loved her role in there.
Yeah.
If and it's something that Chris Evans never really got, a movie of his own where he's the own focus. If you take a look at the first one, he had Bucky in there quite a bit. And then Agent Carter, who and I love Bucky. I love Agent Carter.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Winter Soldier. What's that?
I said Tommy Lee Jones just stole a lot of the scenes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
I forgot how much he was in that.
Yeah, that's true. And then you had the second Sharon Carter and the other one. But yeah, Black Widow being his partner. I think that those Captain America films all were much better films for having that the secondary character to have that team up. I don't think that they would have been as good, and obviously stories would have been different, but I really think that the dynamic with him and somebody else really made those films. So yeah, I absolutely love what they did with Black Widow there.
And Black Widow, so she wasn't very often, yes, because a lot of movies have just the male protagonist and then they throw the woman in and she's two-dimensional. Either she's a Lois Lane that's getting in trouble, or I feel like they make her two-dimensional the other way, where she's just a butt kicker and okay, fine, but why do I care about this character? Black Widow, I love they're kicking butt and then she's talking like the same time talking about who he should go on a date with, and that the two of them aren't in love, because there's just a teensy bit of tension, but it's not them. And I think that's great. And she kicks butt. So I love that she's a three-dimensional, well thought out and well-rounded character. And so much so she gets her own movie, which I think was way overdue. I thought she should have gotten one
a couple phases ago. Yeah.
I think I think they did a great job with Winter Soldier expanding the knowledge of who she is. So of course she first showed up, in the Iron Man films, and then later on in throughout the other ones. But I think that was a great opportunity to expand, and she became less of I don't want to say stereotype. What sort I'm looking for? Basically they were fleshing out the character.
An archetype?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like she was no longer kind of just a standard, this is this character. They really started fleshing her out, going into her background, going into some of her.
Oh no.
Oh no.
He's having a stroke.
Long thought.
Yep.
He's thinking about it.
We got a lot.
That is one of the that's the best face for John.
This is the third time I've noted the time for John, because I gotta splice something together for John.
Silverline rewind.
Poor John, we love you. You can probably hear everything we're saying.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So
don't let him back in.
But John, if you're listening, we're looking at a picture of you with your mouth wide open. So
we're drawing pictures on your face.
Taking a snapshot right now.
Oh no!
He pulled the cord on us.
It's okay.
I think I got it.
Oh, John is entering the room.
You gone? Okay. All right, folks. So we can all agree that a supporting character actually needs to support and not just be along for the ride or simply a comic foil that does nothing. Annoying, no way. Like annoying, I will turn the show off because of supporting character. And then we haven't really touched on it much, and I kind of seem like you mentioned archetype. Archetypes can't just be cliches. We can't have that bumbler or the sidekick. The sidekick can't be that, like, they're always just like a younger replica of the hero, like from they're just a younger version, like more naive and yeah, they have to be their own character to be interesting. And a lot of this was fine 100 years ago, into the 40s and early days of comic books.
But it was new ground because I mean, when you look at Robin being the first sidekick, there wasn't really anything, they didn't really have anything to base that on. So
right, and like everything, it has to evolve in some way. And I love to see those good characters. The bad supporting characters, make them go away. You can only try for so long. But when they've got the merits there, yeah, and then they become very often in the comic book world, they become their own.
Yeah, because that's kind of what happened with the Legend we love and know now, Deadpool.
Yep,
was very much just the foil for Cable, and at certain times he didn't have much of a precise purpose. He was just like, I'm here because I what else am I going to do? And that was literally his reason for being there. But they another good use for a supporting character is to be the anti-straight man, like not just like slapstick, but if you're having an emotional story in a traditionally multi-emotional medium like comics, have always been a little bit goofy at times.
Yep.
But if you have someone like Cable who's supposed to be hyper serious, or you're in a story that it has moments where it's hyper serious, the hero needs to be willing to become as serious to deal with the situation at hand. But a good comedic relief side character that just splices in for a moment does a lot to flesh out the tone or presence of the story itself. Since the story needs to breathe on its own. It can't just be super gritty all the time. Otherwise, you get early Nolan. For those who are familiar, does anyone know the character Dupe?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, the green floaty thing.
The green floaty thing from X-Men. He
yes. What was that? X-Force.
X-Force. Yeah, he eventually gets his own run for whatever reason, but he doesn't speak. He's just a green dupe that will occasionally steal guns from Cable and kill somebody.
He was kind of like Slimer's cousin that we don't talk about.
But
But they gave him his own book.
They gave him his own book, yeah. But the reason he doesn't really show up until it's a moment where you're like, okay, someone should just kind of die here because it would be funny. And Dupe runs in, kills a guy, and runs off, and that's all we see of him. Because he's there to make the story breathe and not be a weight on it.
Yeah.
And then eventually he ends up becoming more important, where he becomes the sounding wall for when someone just needs to talk. What better than a guy who can't talk back? So he's there for the more mental characters who process situations. It's really weird. It doesn't work out sometimes, but when it does, it's astounding how well it does.
Thank you for the
end. I'm going to have to go look up Dupe.
Look up Dupe. If you're interested in side characters, look up Dupe. It'll give you a lot of homework and thinking to do about the subject.
Okay, let me ask this question, if you don't mind, Scott. May I?
We'll see.
Okay.
All right.
What is it? When do you draw the line from being an eclectic group versus just supporting characters? For instance, let's say Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Actually thinking of that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now you look at each of those individual characters and you say, okay, Sokka's a supporting character, but his own arc brings him up to being kind of a main character in that.
That's exactly, like, he's one of my favorite characters from anything ever. And I was like thinking about that. I'm like, is he a supporting character? Is he like, because they're all kind of the main
right?
They kind of say Aang is the main character, but they all really have.
Yeah.
That's what
I think. Well, not to jump in on Scott, but my own thought is that if the final resolution of the story relies on one character's actions, it's like after Last Airbender, the Avatar has to absorb the power of the comet to defeat Ozai. Yeah. And it is the prophecy of the Avatar, essentially. So they all have they're good, strong, supporting characters because they all have their own arcs. They're all there for their own purpose. They're not just there to be Aang's stereotypes. They're there to do their own thing, but they still support Aang in completing the third act of the story. Whereas I'll reference my new favorite show, The Expanse. Tommy is familiar with this one as well. There's a character there, James, who is kind of that he does a lot of the main moving in the story, but it's not reliant on him at any point. It's the story of what the proto-molecule is doing in the stretch of space between Earth and the Jovian belt. Yeah, the Jovian moons. There's room for each character to operate individually because it's the story of what's happening there. Same with Game of Thrones. It's the story of Westeros, not just of the failures in telling a final season.
I just had to put that in there, didn't you?
I did. But if you look at
wait, there was a final season.
There's a final season. But if you look at even the way the books in the Song of Ice and Fire are told, each character has their own arc, and they are critical in the resolution of their own arc. But no one is critical really to the resolution of each other's arc fully. Each person can complete their arc mostly by themselves. Because it's the story of what happens when the fighting is done. It's the story of this war and the resolution thereof.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I got
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think actually it did, very much so.
And so
Gotta put my degree to work.
But
so they are supporting characters. They're just very well supporting characters.
If I minded that question, yeah, I totally minded that one. See, Michael, don't.
Well, you should have said something.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And there is sometimes it's tough to decide if they are supporting or if it is a cast of characters, and that's a big decision to make when writing a story is how much how much time you're going to screen time when I say, but page time or whatever is going to be dedicated to those characters. I think we've talked like NCIS again has been on for 300 years. And it's not a bad show. It's formulaic, but it's character driven, and Gibbs is the main character, but the rest of the team is not a little more than just a supporting cast because they all in the show
they all have a story.
Yeah, they all have a story. They are all integral to the plot.
Okay. Star Wars.
No. Wait a minute. What's the first one?
The first one, eclectic characters or supporting characters.
Which?
Not
A New Hope. Pretend like A New Hope's not there because when it was first out, it wasn't A New Hope. It was just Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For that, because it begins and ends on Luke alone. It is that arc, but when you see.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
It kind of begins on
Leia ship, but that's
the conflict between Rebels and Empire.
Well, but that almost serves as more as a in my opinion, it serves more as like a prologue in terms of structure.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but we actually get a proper first act once we drop to the planet because Luke experiences the inciting incident when the droids or when he finds the droids, or I guess when the droids come to him. If you talk about the wills, but retroactively, it is very focused on Luke when you talk about the prophecy of the wills that George Lucas just had a fever dream of and started typing about.
Speaking of a fever dream,
John, we've reached the dimension where there's two Johns.
They're operating in different times.
They're both muted too, which is good.
So I'm sorry for a little bit ago. I was talking like usual. Sorry, maybe that's why my system crashed. But I've got my 24-inch TV here, camera here. I've got my laptop over here. I look, it like blue screen of death.
Oh,
It's like something's happened to your system. I'm like, oh no, because I was in the middle of a sentence. So it was probably Jeff Goldblum with a friggin' virus that he sent through an alien ship. To teach me. So I immediately jumped on my phone and well, I waited for the system to boot again. So if you notice, I changed my 2 names for a GI Joe homage to Tomax and Zaymot. So it's the 2 Cobra.
It's like
I'm sorry, Tim. I just that threw me off. I looked down there and I'm like,
Amy,
wait a minute.
Amy on Facebook says too much John.
Oh, enough is never enough.
Never enough, John.
Come on, I'm
Well, can you unmute the other one and then mute this one? So, because I'd rather hear the other one because the finger's better with the other one.
John,
this one's kind of yellow.
The other one
one's
sounds
more
deeper.
natural. Yeah.
This
You had come
one
back-
is in honor of Tamura Morrison returning to the Star Wars fold. How's that?
There you go.
So, there you go. We got a clone.
If you'd come back with a goatee on, that would have
That would have been cool.
Oh, that would be.
That would have been cool.
You had to put epaulets. Whenever someone's bad, they have epaulets
Yes.
on. And their hair is always combed over. Little
slick back.
Yep.
That's
Hey,
like-
worked for, Tobey Maguire, right?
Have you ever seen the weird the fever dream that is Jupiter sending, and you come in on Eddie Redmayne's character and like, oh, he's for sure a villain. He's here with slicked back hair, a giant robe.
Now we lost both of them again.
All right.
There's going to be 3 now. They're multiplying.
Yeah.
What's
It's
the deal with
a
that movie,
triple.
Really?
I'm not sure you're supposed to know.
It had Channing Tatum in it. That's weird.
John, you killed
Jupiter
the wrong
Ascending.
one. That's the one I wanted you to kill. You're
Yes.
you're on the good. I wanted the other one. We can't hear.
No.
Nope.
But it's yeah. What's happening?
This is good. This is good programming.
It's good
This is-
content.
I know what John's getting for Christmas.
Yeah.
What we wanted a
Internet.
supporting character.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Star Wars, but because Luke is the one who he starts and finishes the arc. Han Solo and Leia all help, but Han Solo doesn't really. His arc ends with him helping Luke, and Leia's arc pops in and out of Luke helping her. But Luke is crucial to all their stories essentially resolving. Whereas if we were to, in some way, uninstall Han Solo and Leia, the story would more or less be the same with Luke learning that he is a Jedi, becoming a Jedi, and fighting Darth Vader.
Well, couldn't all of them be supporting characters and R2 and 3PO be the main guy since they were in all 9 of them?
Because 3PO brought the ring to Mount Doom. So I have an interesting theory in that 3PO and Luke are the metaphors for the sons of Adam and the sins of the father theology.
Yeah.
Well, because they both live are created and die on screen, resolving the issues their father created. So anyone understands Calvinism. There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's next week's podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Deep
we're gonna
theological.
go from Calvinism here. And I was going to jump to. You know who's an annoying supporting character? Yeah. I was gonna. Are we done with deep theological
We're
metaphor?
good. Yeah. No.
I don't
Next
want
week, millennialism, kids.
Yeah. Wow. So I was okay. Back to annoying characters. Temple of Doom. Willie. The woman in Temple of Doom.
Oh yes.
That's the little boy. The little boy, remember?
Short round.
He's great.
Dr. Jones. No, he's the best.
He's the best, but also there's some deeper issues when you're
We don't talk about it. We have to take it in context of time.
Yeah.
Goonies, Temple of Doom. He deserved an Oscar.
Mhm.
But she talk about whiny and annoying.
Yeah.
Oh
She
god.
freaked
Just
out
causes problems.
the
Yeah.
entire time. Yes.
And how did Indy fall for her? That's what I don't understand.
She was hot.
She never redeemed herself. You're absolutely right. She
No.
never redeemed herself at all.
Yeah, because at the end she's still whiny and angry, right? And
Yeah.
and then it wasn't until the elephant psh, right?
Yeah.
And and that's the end, right?
Yeah, right. Or the kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And then right off the sunset with all the kids running around them. And
yeah,
that's it.
it's it. Well, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Have we discussed this? Indiana Jones has no bearing on the plot of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
No, he doesn't. He's just there.
He's just there.
That's true. Yeah.
Character.
He is a
He's his
supporting
own
character to the movie. That's right. The movie is the character, and he's just in the background, running around.
Just there.
Tying all the scenes
The
together.
movie is about the Raiders.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's along for the ride.
It just it says it.
And there, so then like Harry Potter, I think he might he's got the curse and the thing and all that whatever.
I've got my own Harry Potter problems.
Well, I don't want to step on your toes because I feel like it should be called Hermione and her dumb friends.
I think it should. I think it should be called. Let's just make it up as we go.
It's really how it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
But but
time travel magic.
I
was gonna say time travel magic doesn't work, except for this watch, which only I have, but I'll give to you.
Yep.
For no reason.
That was and they did not do this in the book. She did not do this in the book. Hermione wasn't the know-all in the book.
Yeah.
She wasn't know-it-all, but she wasn't the know-all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like I think they took a lot of. Didn't they take a lot of Ron's lines and
you
give them to
know-
her? Because he was the one who like grew up in the Wizarding world, so he had like stuff that he could.
Well,
tell
the
Harry Potter
card,
with.
the Nicholas Flamel
Hermione
card
in the book.
at the beginning, or you talked, or the Dumbledore card, and it talked about Nicholas Flamel, played a lot into it in the plot of the first book that they didn't really touch on, but it just they kind of came out with Hermione knows, boom, and there you go. and the director and the writer said it. If there's something that we want to do, come on. Expletive, not expletive. Oh my gosh. Exposition. Thank you. Oh my gosh. If you want some exposition in there, you just have Hermione know it. And
she can explain it. Yeah. She didn't
Yeah.
have to really. Yeah. She could just.
That's
blurt
annoying
it
in a
out.
supporting character.
Yeah.
But she was really the smart one, and like I feel like Harry and Ron were just lucked out.
No,
like,
Harry was a little.
She did a lot of the legwork
all the way through them.
Yeah.
The books.
He was at the end of the books. I couldn't stand him.
Harry was the storytelling archetypes. He'd be the knight or the soldier or the mercenary, the one who's the child who's surprisingly good at killing. And this happened to luck into being in the situation he was because of the curse that he was given at birth. So that was more or less prophetic storytelling is what makes him the main character rather than actually giving him a whole lot of agency.
Right.
But that's something came across my desk for the other day, whereas the Harry, Hermione, and Ron who said, the boy who lived, the smartest of our generation, Ron.
Relief.
Yeah.
I always have a problem, and I know it might bother me more than it should, but luck for a hero. I forgive me if I've mentioned this before, but Anakin.
That's your power.
Anakin on Naboo.
Yeah.
Like he lucks out, and you could say it's the Force or whatever, but like I don't like that. I don't like when the Hobbit movies. When all of the dwarves are just lucky with the goblins, and they just they roll and they tumble, and then when they're with Smaug, they just roll and they fall and they.
Scott, they knew what they were doing.
Right.
Yeah,
No.
they were trying to prolong
Like
it.
the
That's what they were
stormtroopers
doing.
can't
They were
shoot
trying to
anybody
make it
thing.
Right.
3 movies instead of 1. That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
All right. We got a bunch of chat. Emily in YouTube says, "Hey Tommy." Roland asks, "Does that mean she woman-splained?"
Oh no, they watching.
Lizzie Hilton says, "Hey Tommy." Renee Formonti
no.
says, "Hey."
Oh no. Hey y'all.
Tommy, you got the fan club going.
I know. I'm gonna jump over there and.
Yeah.
Lead that meeting.
We're gonna change this to the Tommy Florimonti and his
and my
supporting.
Yeah, it is. I was gonna say Merry Men, but I didn't think Haley would like that. So,
Oh, merry man.
Tights. Tights.
Get your bows, arrows, quivers, pantyhose.
But
did you say Abe Lincoln?
yeah. The reason you brought up, Scott, the reason why a lot of original fans did not like the prequel trilogy was like, all midichlorians make Anakin just kind of pop up into the situation.
Yeah.
And then if you get to like the Star Wars as a metaphor thing, you can talk about the Wills, creating this way of tracking their children so they know like how to work the universe in their favor, which is a whole other can of snakes.
Yeah.
But
on a plane.
Yeah, but it does kind of. But then that develops two theories in Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace, where either Darth Maul is much more sinister than they make him out to be, because when he's chasing Qui-Gon, he finds this random boy in the desert, and he's like, you know what, I'm just going to run him over. I don't know who this kid is, but he's going to die today. Or because of the connection in the Force, he's like, oh, that kid's the chosen one. He's definitely going to die today. but then it's more driven. There's a purpose there. It's not just, you're like, hey, random kid. Like the opening scene in Toxic Avenger, where he just like, hey, 5 points for run over that kid.
Going back to the original trilogy and everything, and the balance in the Force and stuff, maybe it's basically Obi-Wan screwed all that up, right?
Mm-hmm.
No,
I mean, really.
No, Obi-Wan brought
yeah,
balance.
no, yeah. You had the Emperor and Darth Vader on the Sith side, and you still had Obi-Wan and Yoda out there. So now you introduce Luke, and now we're going to teach Luke the Force. There goes the balance.
No, because there were other ones still in the background.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's the retcon.
They're plotting all that stuff.
Even in Legends, there was always in Legends. There's even more Jedi and Sith who existed in the background during the Civil War than there was in new canon.
Yeah, and if you think about like the original, 1977, there wasn't necessarily really talk about balance. It was just, the Force is something that surrounds us, penetrates us, binds the galaxy together, so that's really what it was. The whole balance thing came into play later on, especially with the sequel trilogy. Personally, that's one of my favorite parts about it. I really love the whole idea of balance. I really love how they wrote Luke in The Last Jedi. Anybody who hated Luke in Last Jedi, I really am jealous of your perfect life, because I'm 47 years old. I was engaged to my son's mom for like 15 years. I come home one day, she gone, my kid gone, 40 days after my dad died. I had been unemployed the year before. My dog almost died. Then, it's like my life. Country music? What's that?
Do you write country music?
Yeah. No, that's Deliverance. Never mind. So what? So as a 40-some-year-old guy, and my kid's just walking inside now. As a 40-some-year-old guy, my life did not go the way that I thought it would. So when I saw Luke Skywalker later in life, where his life did not go the way that he thought it would, not the way that anybody thought it would, I connected to that. I'm like, that's real life. I get that.
That's how I viewed that, believe it or not. That's how I viewed that, because it's like it made sense for him.
It took a while to get used to it, but then once we really dive into it, it's the idea that you believe it's the ultimate burnout. You spend your entire life like believing in what you've been told to be like the prophecy of the Force. Yeah. You beat the ultimate bad guy. You win the war. And you're like, all right, I'm going to like start this new way of life. I'm going to be part of a new government system. We're starting a new nation. And oh, by the way, all of it failed.
Yeah.
Literally every single thing you fought for failed.
The first kid you decide to teach has this real, you're like, it could be evil.
Yeah. So he leaves. He destroys.
Then he tries to kill him.
Yep, and then they blow up the government that you tried to start.
But the only thing that I can say is this: if you want it to disappear, usually you don't leave a map. That's just all I can say.
That's yeah. Well, also the bad guys left a map, so maybe it's like tradition. Like if you leave in the Star Wars universe, you're supposed to leave a map. It's just what you do.
Well, somebody had to find him.
Yeah.
This will begin to make things right. I have traveled too far and seen too much. Sorry, like I said, I saw it 20.
My only criticism of Luke comes with the choice to aggressively drink space cow milk.
That was pretty gross.
I think he was trying to disgust her. I think he was just trying. Go away. Just go away.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I feel like that space milk is an excellent spot to start to wrap up. Lady and gentlemen,
but have you guys had any of the blue and the green milk over in?
You know, you remember that time when they really
It was
promoting
good.
Kool-Aid
It's
in the
done.
milk? There you go. That's how I saw it. So.
Okay.
As long as it's not blue raspberry, because I'm thinking blue raspberry milk. No bueno.
Yes, we get the purple ketchup. You know, you're good to go.
Oh, I remember that from the 90s.
Yeah, purple ketchup. Has anyone thought about how many varieties of mustard there are? And how
Too many. One is too many.
Mustard's delicious, but
No, mustard's fantastic.
how many ketchups are there?
I don't know, but like my family, the second language at home is French, so we have a wide variety of mustard and cheese here.
That's good. Okay. I said I was wrapping up on space.
Supporting characters as cheese.
Comic book milk and cheese. There you go.
All right.
Evan Dorkin.
Cheese, mustard, and space milk is an excellent supporting cast of characters to a well-rounded diet. And we are going to start to wrap up. Gentlemen, lady, thank you all. We're going to say goodnight real quick. Well, thank you, Tommy. The topic tonight, everybody, if you joined us late, was, if you can believe it, what makes a good supporting character? If you are not watching this live or if you missed the beginning, go back and watch it. Toss your comments in, share these videos. Always remember, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff for our videos here and on our other social media platforms.
Don't forget about the mystery box. Gotta send it to the mystery box.
Silverlinecomics.com/mystery
box.
And we have 20 boxes. The auction is going to start tonight, correct? And then we're going to wrap up next Wednesday. You have the opportunity to get exclusive, one-of-a-kind Silverline goodies and artwork and comic books. It's an awesome opportunity to get stuff that you'd never be able to get otherwise. And
I'm hearing box number 5 is the one to go for.
Oh, I was going to lean towards 7, but
I hear box number 7 is the one to go for.
We've got to start wrapping up here. I think that's all I have to say to talk us up. Check out our website and the mystery boxes and start bidding. And we'll start. I'll start. I'm Scott Wakefield at Steam Patriots on Facebook and Instagram. I am likewise professionally on LinkedIn. If you want to connect there, I like doing that. And Steam Patriots will be coming soon from Silverline. How about I'll zag down diagonally to Rory Boyle. Say goodnight.
Good night.
Thank you, Rory.
You can find me all the same places you can find Scott at Steam Patriots.
All right. Thank you, sir. Let's see. See Michael Lanning, Christmas Michael Lanning over there.
I would say Michael Lanning. I am not on LinkedIn, but I'm on the other one, so you can find me there. And also Comics News Wires Friday mornings at 11:11 Eastern time.
Yes, thank you, sir. And call it Medic. John Medic, yes. The duplicate multiple man.
I was going for the Bond reference, Medic. John Medic. I take my Diet Pepsi shake. Yeah. Actually, no, shaking the Diet Pepsi is probably not a good idea.
Refreshing.
But yeah, if you want to find me, just Google my name. There's not news out there. So.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Haley, go for it.
Yep. Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Haley Martin Art, and then my own comic Heroic Shenanigans is just heroicshenanigans.com, or you can Google it, and if you spell it wrong, you'll probably still find it because it's kind of a mouthful.
Baroque Shenanigans, soon to be accompanied by Baroque Shenanigans.
Yes. Spin-off coming soon.
If we could make that happen, I'd pay for
it. Tommy, you're over here on my screen. Go for it.
Thomas Florimonte Jr., Florimonte Jr. You can find me on Facebook, everywhere else. All my personal stuff's on infernostudios.com. And something that Tim and I didn't tell you about, we've got a new crafting thing over on, maybe you can say it when you do your enders there, Mr. TK. But anyway, look for me. Formonte. F-L-O-R-I-M-O-N-T-E. Thank you.
All right.
As it's
Tim,
spelled there.
once more. Oh, Tim, no, not once more. Tim.
F-L-O-R-I-M-O-N-T.
Go for it, Tim.
I am Tim TK. I'm the associate editor here at Silverline, as well as our digital content curator at the website, where if you go to silverlinecomics.com, there is a new craft post. The craft is the series on creating comics that I personally edit, written by Tommy Flormonte Jr., talking about how he taught himself how to be a comic artist. And we already have
F-L-O-R-I-M-O-N-T-E.
And we already have comments on there saying how people are going to show that to their kids who may have been interested in thinking it might be inspirational. So that is super
I tried
rad.
to make it funny. I
Yeah.
tried to make it truthful and funny.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
that's super rad. I'm on all the social medias at Tim TK Writer. I am on TikTok at Tim Doesn't TikTok, where I talk about punk rock and literature and the intersection thereof. I'm at Twitch at AgroBacon, AGGRO Bacon, one word, where you can subscribe to me for free and or follow me for free and subscribe for the low price of $5 a month, where you can help me afford Del Taco burritos. And I'm also on LinkedIn, but I don't use it.
Who did?
A lot of that.
Scott's the only one who uses it.
Before we go, the reason we do this rundown at the end, if you haven't caught on, we are all independent creators trying to carve our way into the creative world, and we'd love your support in this season of gift giving and so forth. Think about some non-traditional gift of patronizing one of us, giving Tim had a great one over there. You can support him in his efforts, and it's all very simple and very easy. And buy some comic books. When's the last time you've thought about buying a comic book as a gift? Buy a stack of them for a friend. Get them into the independent comic books, and we have so many great titles that are new and unique, and the great stories with amazing art. And we would love for you to check those out. And if you do read our stuff, toss a review up somewhere and tell a friend, share those around. So thank you for joining us. This is Wednesday Wham. Silverline also has a Sunday night show, the occasional Monday night show. So keep an eye out on our feeds and where our news comes out. Read our craft blog, buy our comics. And we'd love to hear your feedback. So for all of us, good night and make mine
Silverline.
Everybody.
Night.